Are you working out 3 to 5 times consistently at the gym each week? But no matter what you do, you can drop that last bit of stubborn belly fat and you can increase your strength. If this sounds like you, I got 5 mistakes you might be doing. I'm gonna tell you how to easily fix them in this video today. What's going on, guys? Rich here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood, and we're gonna really dive into these 5 mistakes that you might be doing so you can drop that stubborn belly fat and look like you work out and almost look like an athlete, right? Now, before we jump into it, I apologize about my voice. I'm coming off a bachelor party weekend. The Bills had a big win, so not all guys can handle bachelor party weekends and football games, apparently. That's me, but I'm gonna grind through today. But yeah, 5 mistakes you might be doing, and of course, if you can drop stubborn belly fat, there's a good chance nutrition is gonna be the issue, at least could be 90-95% of it. Today, we're gonna focus on the workouts though, because what I always say is nutrition is gonna determine the body, the number on the scale, right? So how much weight you lose, how much weight you gain, that's gonna be determined, of course, by nutrition. However, the workouts are what determine how you look like at that number at the scale, right? Because you got one person at 200 pounds versus someone at 200 pounds, they're gonna look completely different. And of course, yes, obviously eating the right sort of protein and right sort of food's gonna help that, but also what kind of workouts you're doing, and that's what we're gonna focus on today. Now, we do have a free resource if you want a free week in terms of seeing how the week is laid out in terms of our stomach shred program. So if you want that, I'm gonna drop it down below. I basically take you through A to Z, full workout, rep sets, every single thing. So I recommend just jump on it and get it. But we'll kind of explain the 5 mistakes, potentially what you are doing. And by the end of this video, maybe you're like, oh crap. And all you get is make is 1 or 2 small changes and you're gonna drop that stubborn belly fat. So we're gonna really jump into these 5 mistakes. Mistake number 1, focusing on burning calories. Yes, that is true. So what I mean by that is maybe it could be like high intensity interval training. Maybe it's like some CrossFit workouts. Maybe it's a lot of cardio, but your efforts are on focusing on burning calories and not really getting strong in the gym. What if I told you this? Exercise only makes up 5 to 10% of how many calories you burn in a given day. Would you still be focused on burning calories? Hopefully not, right? The big picture approach is in a fat loss phase, you want the nutrition to take care of the fat loss for you, but your workouts, you want to train and get strong and to protect your muscle. Now, think of like burning calories this way as a bit of an analogy. Let's say you're going for a swim, right? It's a lot easier to swim with the current. You're doing less effort and it's going to kind of take you with you. The current's going to take you to your desired destination. If you're swimming against the current and you're putting a lot of effort in, you're really not going to get that far, right? It's exact same thing when it comes to cardio. You're doing a lot of work, like swimming against the current, but you're really not getting that far because you're only focusing on the 5 to 10% of how many calories we're burning in a given day. And there's a much better way to approach that. This is why you wanna lift to lose, which I call it, and you wanna make sure you're trying to protect your muscle in the gym and your efforts just aren't on burning calories. So that's mistake number 1. Make sure you're not focusing on tons of cardio, high intensity interval training, or even some CrossFit workouts. We have really no periodized structured plan. Mistake number 2, mastering the 6 to 12 rep range and pushing hard enough. So a lot of times we think like the more reps you do, we're just toning up, right? When I say master the 6 to 12 rep range and push hard enough, you do want to make sure you're pushing hard enough, right? Because you can do 8 reps at 5 pounds and it's really not gonna be that challenging. So make sure, yes, you are mastering that 6 to 12 range, but you're have obviously intensity at the same time. So anything lower than 6 reps, don't be wrong, you can mix in once in a while. Any higher than like 12 reps, you definitely can do like some burnout, stuff like that. But the meat and potatoes of your training should be getting strong in that 6 to 12 rep range and progressing over time. Now, think the 6 to 12 rep range, like you're going to a restaurant and you're getting the steak and the potatoes, right? Your meat and potatoes. That's basically it. You want to focus on that. Any lower reps or any high reps is like maybe ordering like an occasional app or dessert. You can mix it once in a while, but the main thing you want is obviously the meal, which is the steak potatoes. And the same thing for this progress we're talking about. We want to focus on that 6 to 12 rep range for at least 89% of our efforts, and the other times you can mix it a little bit lower, a little bit higher. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that myself, especially if you enjoy it. But just make sure 6 to 12 rep range is that main staple in your program. Anything more than 12, it's not bad. You're just gonna drive up your fatigue. So if you're doing like 15, 20 rep sets, who the hell wants to do 20 rep sets of squats, right? Number 1, it's gonna be really taxing on your body and it's gonna be hard to recover from. Number 2, it's gonna be hard on your joints, kind of ties into that. And anything lower than 6 reps, you potentially aren't just getting enough stimulus on your body. Again, if you do like 5 reps and you're pushing hard, fair enough. But this is why strength is completely different from like aesthetics. So I like this 6 to 8, 6 to 12 because you're still getting some strength, but it's not just like pure power and strength if you're kind of focused that 1 to 5 rep range. So hope that makes sense. Master the 6 to 12 rep range, get strong in that rep range, progress over time, and that will be your best plan. Mistake number 3, doing random exercises or changing things up way too often. This is why it's important to have like a plan and exercise you do for a decent amount of time, at least 4 to 6 weeks, I'd say, because if you're just constantly changing your workout structure up or you're changing exercises up, you're not gonna get better at those movements. And how do you know you're progressing, right? Because let's say one week you do a bench press and the next week you do like a different chest movement, you're not gonna get better or stronger at the particular movement if you're just constantly changing things up. Now, this is kind of my minor beef with CrossFit. I do think there's some pros. I'm not here to rip on CrossFit, so if you enjoy doing it, I do think there's some pros to it, but there are some cons. It's the workout of the day, right? And you're just constantly changing things up, and you're really not getting better at a specific movement. You're not getting stronger at a specific movement unless you're just doing it for a period of time, right? I know CrossFit has that as well, but point being is you want to make sure you're doing the same exercises for at least 4 weeks, I would say, and make sure you're doing the same workout program as well, workout structure. Because think of it this way, right? If you're your job and let's say your boss gives you like 10 things to do, he's like, I want this done all by today at the same time. You're like, what the hell? Like, I'm not gonna be able to get that done. But if he gives you one specific thing to focus on, or over the course of the day, or maybe even the course of the week, you can dedicate your efforts to that. You're gonna get better at it, and you're gonna finish it and accomplish that task. Where if you're just doing so many things at once, you're really not gonna get better at it. Your head's gonna be spinning, and you're really not gonna be progressing. So think of it that way. Do similar movements for at least 4 weeks. Do the same workout structure as well. Don't change like from the bro split to an upper lower split to high intensity interval training. Do the same program for at least a few months, I would say, and that's the only way to get better and get stronger during your mistake number 4, thinking more is better, right? So I'm talking to the person who's maybe in the gym for 75 minutes or 90 minutes. They're in tons of sets, they're in tons of cardio, but they're really not getting anywhere, right? Then you see the other guy who comes in 45, 50 minutes and he's lean, he's got good muscle to him, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Like, no matter what I do, I can't get to that. Well, more is not always better. Better is better, and think quality over quantity. It's not how many sets you do, it's the effort you're putting into your sets. And this is why, even myself, I do 45, 50-minute workouts, and this is what I teach my clients as well, 40, 50-minute workouts, because if you're in the gym for like 75, 90 minutes, there's a good chance your intensity is gonna fall off, right? If you're in so many sets, your intensity at some point is gonna drop off, or if your workouts are not as long, your effort can stay higher throughout that course of time. Now, for the football fans, think of it this way. If you're a running back, some running backs are a lot better with like 15, maybe 10 to 15 carries a game, opposed to like 20 to 30 carries a game, right? So more is always better. At the 25, 30 carry mark, they start getting worn down, they lose intensity, and they're just kind of worn out. But at 10 to 15 carries per game, they are actually more productive overall because they have that burst, they're not saving their energy, and they're just having a much better game because they can just go full blow for that shorter period of time. It's the exact same thing with your workouts. So I want you to think quality for quantity. It's not how many sets you do, it's the effort you put into your sets. And this should come as good news as well. If you're a busy guy and you're looking to shave your workouts down, 45, 50 minutes is all you need, even lower if you need to. And you definitely don't have to be in the gym for 60 minutes plus. I know I don't, so that should come as good news for you. Mistake number 5, going 0 to 100 way too fast and not being consistent enough, right? So maybe this is you where maybe you're doing a workout program, you do awesome for a couple weeks or maybe a month, you fall off for a week or two, you do good for a week or two, and just kind of up and down cycle of doing good and then falling off track. I would rather you take imperfect action and maybe the effort isn't as good as it needs to be for 1 week, but as long as you're consistent and over the course of weeks, that's gonna build that momentum. For another, like a baseball analogy, think of like it's just getting on base, right? Like not every day is gonna be a home run. Some days you might just need to get a walk, some days you just need a single, and then those home runs are eventually gonna come if you just kind of build up the positive momentum. But if you just go for the home run and then you strike out 20 times after, really not that productive, right? I mean, depending what team you are. As a Jays fan, that's kind of what we're doing right now. Some home runs, a lot of strikeouts, but that's what you really don't want. It's the same thing when it comes to your workouts. Just try to be consistent with them and try to really avoid those 0 to 100 and then 100 to 0 type of crashes, right? Because if you just do good for a couple weeks, you fall off for a week, and it's just up and down cycling, you're really not getting anywhere. So find something that's sustainable for you, and maybe even dial back the intensity if you need to, so you can keep consistent over a long period of time. And obviously at a point, you're going to have to increase intensity. Like, you can definitely be consistently mediocre. Again, I'm a Bills fan. We were consistently mediocre for like 20 years, and that's not successful. So you do got to obviously increase intensity at some points. But, some days if you just kind of grind out those workouts, and then it just going to lead to better workouts after that. That's what you want to strive for, because that's going to name the game in terms of long-term success. So our 5 mistakes, going to recap it. Number 1, again, you're kind of focused on burning calories. Remember, the name of the game here is going to be keeping your muscle mass again stronger in the gym. Remember, exercise only makes up 5 to 10% of how many calories you burn in a given day. Mistake number 2 is going to be not going heavy enough and not really mastering the 6 to 12 rep range. So maybe you're just like doing light weights, for like 15, 20 reps, but you're really not getting strong in that 6 to 12 rep range. So make sure you focus on that as the meat potatoes of your training. Mistake number 3, you're just doing random exercises and you're just changing things up too much. We kind of broke that down to detail a few minutes ago, so I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about here. Mistake number 4, remember, more is better. That's the mistake. So more is definitely not always better. Think quality over quantity. And mistake number 5, again, just not consistent enough. So again, if you want a free week where I basically just map out every single exercise for you, I get the sets, the reps, how to structure them, how to progress them, and you'll kind of see that, the 4 movements you can do in a given workout are the same for the course of the month, but the other 3 can kind of change every single time to give you some variety if that's what you like. You're going to want to click below and grab it. Again, free. It's from our Stomach Shred program. So make sure to go get it down below. I'll put it in the YouTube description, and it should come as an awesome, valuable resource for you. So again, sorry for the stuttering today, sorry for the voice. I'm not 100% in terms of recovering from the weekend and the Bills game, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.